All right, hey everyone, I'm back. We're getting into the start of more streams season here, but tonight I'm starting off with a short one from 2007. As a first, I might actually be getting into some video editing, which reminding me to open up the video editor now before I to make sure everything goes long. But anyway. These series of photos are from a trip I took in 2007 out to Harrisburg. Just a quick little Keystone line trip. There was a lot of rebuilding, reconstruction of the Keystone corridor, Amtrak Harrisburg line in 2005 to 10. So I was just doing a little trip out there to see what was going on. I followed this up with some more in-depth car-based trips later. And because, for whatever reason, either cars were closed or who knows why, I was only able to get side windows, I wasn't able to get a lot of good stuff. So it was only about 2 sets worth of photos. I did uncover some lost media, some old, very early videos for me. I only started taking video in around 2007 with my second-gen digital camera. Very pretty basic stuff. 480p or whatever the basic TV resolution is. And there are things that most of them I haven't put on YouTube. There's probably good reasons why, but you really shouldn't be picky in this day and age. So I might do a little bit of putting some file names or figuring out how to group them or showing you how I did my original YouTube editing. Or merging or whatever files, and we'll see how this video. I'm on a different basic video editor now, but this one, we'll see how this goes because I think I used it before and it was really giving me some bad. Might have been giving me some bad output. So we'll see what that goes on for. Anyway, let's just begin here. As I said, it was just a lot of, a couple side window things from a Keystone, and then a bunch of stuff around Harrisburg. So it'll be a pretty chill outing today. Let me just pull up the photos. It goes September 29th, 2007. Interesting. Picture old Cork Tower. Now at this point, I believe that Cork was still open and the machine was still on its original signaling, but the plant had been substantially reconfigured. What they did between 2005 and when the tower was finally cut out, well, the tower was first cut over and then it was closed. Those are two distinct things. So they spent a whole bunch of time reconfiguring it, but everything that could map to the old interlocking machine, they mapped to the old interlocking machine, and then they cut it over to the new hardware, and then those interlockings were under local control from the tower using panels, and then they finally remoted the tower sometime around 2012, I believe. It's in my blog. You can go find it. I'm not going to go dig it up now. It's not that relevant. But in 2007, the tower was very much open. The Model 14 machine was still in operation. Here's a morning photo. Slightly different angle, morning photo. Same thing. The compressor house, at this point, all of the pneumatics had been converted to M3 electrics. Maybe one or two that weren't going to make the cut, but I'm not sure at which point those would have gone out. I think the 7 switch was the last one that was still pneumatic. The 7 switch in the Conestoga and the 1 switch, because those were going to be fully removed. They left them in place, but they weren't going to go and pull the switch over the point machines from electric to pneumatic to electric. So those stayed pneumatic all the way till they got turned into hand ops or removed. like I said, we skip right to Harrisburg here. Wonderful photo, morning photo of us. A lot of times when I went out with my friend, we'd stop off at the M&H. That was pretty. You'd go out, you'd stop at Middletown, you'd do some M&H stuff. Middletown and Hummelstown, it's a little tourist railroad that's there. I mean, it's actually the original. It's the name of the railroad. Cork is in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I was just looking at the map, so I just spaced on it. So that just passing through Lancaster. In previous iterations, in some of the streams, I think that I covered going around that area in 2005. So a lot of other my trips, we would stop at Middletown. The M&H is not a thing that they bought a branch line and called it the M&H. That was the original name of the railroad. It goes way, way back. It actually counts as an interurban. They can run streetcars and other things on their line without the FRA getting mad at them because they're technically an interurban or electric railroad, so different regulations apply. But that's the thing we did not do this day. We went directly to Harrisburg. Here is AEM 7 number 925 here on the platform. Even by 2007, they'd switched to, I think it was around 2003, they went from a 3-car train standard to a 5-car set. And they're still using 5-car sets today. Should always check what the original names and stuff were. Ha! You know what? I'm going to use the old name. There's no reason not to. It's not great, but it works. Next up, we have a diesel that might be the Protect engine. So for quite some time in the mid 2000s, the electric traction was turned off. The overhead was not in use between Thorndale, or around Thorndale and Harrisburg. Sometimes maybe Parksburg. I forget where the actual. It was somewhere where they had the out of service, and that was doing a lot. And they were running straight. Everything was diesel. And then at a certain point, they were able to rejuvenate the overhead enough that they could go back to electrics. It wasn't necessarily that it was. That it couldn't have supported it, but they were just doing some fixing it up. Because Amtrak was having electric train shortages. So they weren't running electrics to Harrisburg. So that's one of the reasons, since there was nothing electric going out there. They just took it out of service. Now I'm not sure if they usually they don't like turning off the power because then people will steal the wire. So they might have left it on but just had it out of service for train use. I'm not 100% sure. So here we have 57 and AEM 7 number 941. The later 941s remain DC, so this one looks to be one of the AC conversions. Amtrak did try to run the older DC AEM 7s on the Keystones because they were shorter train sets. Most people aren't aware that although it's AEM 7, you assume that it's 7,000 horsepower. It originally stood for something called it was a marketing term for diesel equivalent horsepower. So they only had 4,300 continuous. I think that they could just overload to 7,000 horsepower, but I think their continuous rating was 4,300. So we have at this point, Harrisburg had. Let me see if I go to the diagram here. Here we go. Harrisburg had. I think it had 1, 2, 3 platforms and then like a through track. It was odd. So it had, in theory, it had tracks 8, 7, 6, and 4 were the ones that went through. There was also a track 5 that might have also been usable, and then just didn't go through. Today, only 3 track. They eliminated that number 8 track going through. Harrisburg also had an inspection pit and a car wash. I'm actually not sure if that inspection pit and the car wash is still there. So let's just go take a quick look, see if it is. There it is. Or is it? There's the car washer. Yep, and there's the end of the track. So there's 6 and 7. There's track 4. And something over here was where that might have been 8 or... No, there's 8. Sorry, 6, 7. That's 8. And then that's the inspection track. That's the inspection wash track. In theory, they can put a train on it. It does get served by those whatever's there, but not typically. And the new Harrisburg also has a second. They built a number of additional platforms. I think there's a second high level one. They've done a lot of work trying to spruce up Harrisburg Station. It does have. You can still see some of the original PRR brick platforms though. Sorry. And then we have a close-up of 941. Beautiful weather this day. September had to have been, late September had to have been just a gorgeous time to get out and get some photos. This light is fantastic. Not a cloud in the sky. Here we have our cab car. I bet they just had closed off the front car. Sitting next to GG1 4859, which is lives in the station on display. I think that they shoved that onto track 5 or some such. Again, let's take a look at the overhead. The GG1 is usually sort of in there. Yeah, there's a track 5, and they'll put the GG1. It sort of lives in this area there. But you can pull a train up on track number 5. And the Y is also functional. And it looks like it's still interlocked too. That turning Y is useful in case they have a issue with the train set. They need to get the cab on the different end. So this is number 9650 for the Metroliner. This is before they put the that front plate door. That wasn't for safety. It was for weather. The original Metroliners, of course, had some sort of weird fold-up door thing. It would normally, when leading a Metroliner, it would be flush. When they would couple them in mid-train, they would sort of they would make the door connections, like it would whatever. When they got converted to cab cars, they put in this typical diaphragm here, like you'd see between normal AM fleets, with that storm door. By the 2000s, that storm door was having major problems keeping the weather out. A lot of rain, whatever, cold getting in there. So eventually their solution, because they never would couple these mid-train anymore, they welded a piece of sheet metal over it with a little window and painted yellow. So some people were thinking that was for safety, but it really is just a piece of sheet metal. It's not going to provide additional stuff, and it was for weatherproofing. Oftentimes they will run the Keystone sets if they'll platform them and they'll run them up to go hang out by there's a storage track. They'll run them up, go on what they call the market track, and then they'll run it to a different place to wait because they want to platform these in the high level, but when the Pennsylvanian comes through, they got to clear it out. They got to clear the way for that. So that would be or sometimes they would just run them off the end of the platform so other Keystone sets could come and possibly use it. Again, notice the end of the high-level platform, it cuts to this lower-level portion. Not sure how much that gets used. Sometimes I think when you have a lot of stuff on, like private cars or whatever on the Keystone, on the Pennsylvanian, but it's still kept up very nice. Again, original brick from the PRR days, and that's the original platform shelter too. Somehow, I started just walking up along the right-of-way. I'm sure I did this with Bob. I think we wanted to go see Harris Tower. Harris Tower was not the tourist attraction it is today. I recall that in our quest to get up there, we were walking up. We didn't just. I don't think we just ran out the station, although we might have. Let's see what we can do here quick on Google Street View. I recall us trying to go directly, like walk along the right of way. Not trying to be like, oh, let's go somewhere. We knew that Harris was in that direction, but we didn't know you had to go up that street and then over. So I think that we just sort of walked up this parking lot here. That guy might have yelled at us in the security booth. I'm not 100% sure. This photo's from 2020. Let's see what it looked like a little earlier. So I think we walked up there and passed. I remember walking on that side of that hospital. We can actually go back to 2007, see what that would have been like. A little hard to see. See, now they have this they tore down all the trees and they put up an anti terrorism fence. But I think at this time that fence was not there. It was there in 2014. There in 2011. Yeah, it was not there in 2008. So there was just a hedge, and you could just walk right onto the track bed area. So and here we have 9651 and Harrisburg Station north of it. It's interesting. Back then, I was much more worried about getting yelled at for photos and whatnot. But at the same point, things did seem did always felt a little more loosey goosey. I think that's probably just because there's more fencing today. There's less people might not be actively gunning for you, but they've been putting up more passive barriers, more cameras. One second. And then here we have the three dwarf signals looking down into what was at one point declared to be the extended limits of state, is really the rebirthed Harris. They put a panel in state. Everybody would call it Harris, but sometimes they would just call it the extended limits of state. So here we are looking at the 6, 7, and 8 W dwarf signals. 6, 7, 8. And 8 no longer exists. And Harris Tower as it looked in 2007. Still looks great. Looked great then. They had, so they were able to get that cosmetically refurbished before the interlocking machine was up and running. But that I think that attraction had been fully implemented by 2007. At some point, I had what did I have? There was an event that I was going to go on. It was a PRR. It was a Amtrak fall foliage fan trip up the Port Road. And for whatever reason, I could not attend. And I do not, for the life of me, remember what I was doing. It was something on the order of like a test I had to take, but I can't remember what it would have been. Sorry to go on and on about this. It was something in my head, and I could not get out of it. I had to give the ticket to my dad. No, nothing wrong with giving the ticket to my dad. I'm glad I did. He had a great time. But I can't, there's not a lot that would cause me to have to cancel a Railfan event. So I just don't know. I mean, something I bought and paid a ticket for. I can't remember what that would have been. Something I put it in my head, like I was taking some sort of like grad, like some sort of standardized test for grad school, but that was after that. Wouldn't have been it was a Saturday, so it wouldn't have been anything job related. Yeah, can't remember. Really strange. It might no, it wouldn't have, if it was as early as 2003 or 4. It, in theory, could have been a final exam or something, but I just don't think so. Here we have the 76 switch at Harris, the Amtrak New Harris, not this Harris, not the worse Harris. 76 switch would be that first one right there. So I'm just walking right up next to this stuff. Yep, there's the 4 track right ahead of me. And there's the 4W signal. I guess the not the irony, I don't know. The weirdness was that the human security people were all over you, but they hadn't, no one had the time to, put up all the more modern day, barriers that you now, that are now very popular. So you could still just go walk up down the tracks. That's the end of the first half. We only have 2 halves today, but that's why I might throw in some stuff with the video things. Yeah, definitely. It's right now. You've been as a longtime stream watcher, Brian. You know that I've been putting up a lot more photos that I originally would cut because of quality issues, but this is when I'm sort of getting into a few earlier videos as well. So it's there's a whole bunch of this is the old 2007 zone. Where if I didn't have it somewhere where I'd notice it, I'm noticing it now. Yeah, so today. Yeah, they've maybe it's because Harris Tower became a thing with people, that they fenced off the stuff there. You can still walk through there. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that's what I did. So I came up through the parking lot. I remember this. I was with Bob at the time. We were like, "How do we get to Harris?" So we walk up here. We walk through the lot. We thought that Harris was going to be there, like it was right there. So we go up. I guess we sneak past the guard. We go past this little corner there. There's no fence. So we go here, and there's no tower, and we're like, we just got to keep on walking. So there's no fence, so we're just able to walk right up along this area right here. And that's why we're in this zone in here. I think we were trying to get to Harris, but Harris might have had a fence, as you saw in the Harris photo. Harris Tower might have actually had a fence in front of it. Yeah, they put up a fence, and then we couldn't get out. So we walked up there, and we got this. I got this great photo of the tower, but then we couldn't escape the right of way. Oh yeah, that's wacky. Yep. So here's the Harris hut, still there. Made of core 10 naturally weathering steel, good quality stuff. Lil has an interlocking horn. If anyone's ever interested in the history of interlocking horns, I put a bit of those on my. I did a blog post on those. Maybe not so much history, but variety. I'm going to make this a little bit wider to catch that overpass there. The interesting thing was when my dad went on that trip, he actually got to stop by Harris Tower, and he bought me my Harris Tower. He bought me they have a T-shirt, and he bought me one. And I lost that, and I bought a replacement. And I think that one sort of gotten some issues with it, so I'm gonna have to buy my third. I'll be on my third version. They keep selling the same shirt though. You know, God bless limited volunteer staffs, and just keep reprinting the same shirt. So I'm gonna go get another one when I go up there. Here we have Harris interlocking. Amtrak's Harris. This is the 7497. 97 is what goes to the Market Street running track. That's an electrified storage track that train sets can back out. Because if they kept going on the main track, they're going to A, run out of overhead wire, and B, run out of Amtrak. So they use this Market Street running track to turn train sets so they can come back around onto a different track. So here we again have the 74 switch and the 97. The switch numbers, if for anyone who forgot, they're based on the track numbers. I always forget if it's trailing or whatever. So like one will be 74, the other will be 90. 74 and 47. You stare at it enough, you'll see what the pattern is. If it's trailing or reverse. But I'm not going to bore you with me just trying to sit there and stare at it. The thing that I do need to do, that I always forget to do, is I got to pull up my Philadelphia Conrail interlocking chart to get the switch numbers, the signal numbers for CP Harris. 38. Come on, where are you? It's right up front. Sheet 24, 32578. I'll be looking at this is before the resignaling, so you get the cool small target searchlights. So the 2W, 6W, and the 8W there. 2W, 6W. Okay, how are we gonna do this? We've got the 70. Okay, Harris. The 7 East rear. There we go. Harris, when Harris Tower was closed and re-signaled in 1990-92, Conrail was still in its phase of its standard signal system-wide with these Michigan Central small target searchlights. They originally went with what I would call national garb. They would do whatever was there. So if it was PRR, you get position lights. If it was New York Central, you'd get tri-lights or small target searchlights, if that, as the case may be. Then in the late 80s to the early 90s, they decided to standardize on these small searchlights. They put them all over the place, which is very fascinating to see a railroad adopt go to an electromechanical searchlight so late, in the 1990s. And then by 1994, they'd gone with their late model tri-lights, the ones that they're known for, and they then applied those system wide. So here again have these 6W. These then again these searchlight signals were lost when Harris was re-signaled in about 2017, 18. But it was interesting that you'd come off of Amtrak, you'd pass these color searchlights on PRR territory, and then they would all be position lights. Either be position lights or the tri-lights every point after that, all the way to Harrisburg. So these would be the only searchlights that you'd hit on the PRR route. So I'm gonna demote the Harris switch here, because it already has a leading indicator. Help to distribute the photos around. I usually just keep stuff in flat directories as files, so that adopting a proper naming convention is very useful for long-term findability. Probably being great boon for the AIs out there scraping the photos. Hey, but I'm not going to mind if you can AI generate some position light signals. More power to it. By the way, notice the fill lighting here. The building across the way had windows and whatnot, so it was reflecting the morning sun onto the tracks for natural fill lighting. This appears to be, I think, the 74. Or I mean 76. Where is that? Yeah, it's probably the 76. Yep. That's an M3 switch machine. And this would be the 4W signal. Ah, crap. Where is that? Oh, I got it. It's fine on my end. Yeah, I can see it. Looks fine over here. I should be looking at more of these older names. Yeah, I should reuse some of them better. Ah, damn it. Reusing stuff that they'll just slot in where it was. Yeah, I love that fill lighting. It's really nice. That works. Anything else I need to use with these? So here we have one of Amtrak's, I think it's an MP15D, one of their switchers, low emissions for the time. They have a bunch of these. It's number 576. Let me take a look with the. So, oh yeah, I think we're we're departing Harrisburg. That's why it's all tinty. That's from the window. So, there you go. We're heading out of, departing state tower, state interlocking there. You can probably figure out what that switch that is. Let's see if I caught what switch that was back in the day. Probably didn't. No, I didn't. But I can. He's probably on that pit track. So that looks probably the 56R. Close enough. Did it break anything? Nah, we're good. Did I hope I figured those out, because I don't want to figure them out now. Let's see. Oh, thank God I did. So this is where I'm going to go to my color balance and get rid of some of this window tint. Not great. Definitely backlit issues. But at least I know what signals and everything those are. So let's see, 56L and the 57L, and the 75 switch. There we go. Next. Okay, now we're back at Lancaster and Cork. So at this time when Cork was really imploding in on itself due to their resignaling project, I was trying to do the best I could to get photos of whatever was standing. This is the old 26R signal. If you looked at, I haven't released it yet. I'm going to be later on this tonight. Or tomorrow, look for my Cork interlocking position light blog post. Part of me finally getting around to doing Cork Tower stuff. If you go to the Cork, wherever it is, one more. If you go to the Cork interlocking again in Lancaster diagram for Amtrak, you had 2 main through tracks that was designed for freight and 2 station tracks, so you could have high-level platforms. Those station tracks, this was the 26R, was the westbound, the signal that would take you out of the westbound station track. What Amtrak did was remove the station tracks completely and then bump each main track, literally shoved them over to service the platform, so they sort of bow out there. But because Cork was still there, they just, bagged the signal. No need, bagged out of service, even if it was probably still connected. I noticed the 100 hertz signal power supply there. So it's funny, one might expect this specific bagged signal to be bagged in anticipation of being part of the new interlocking, but this one was actually bagged as part of the old configuration, and it will be then removed. For those of you playing at home. All right, here we go. This one turned out pretty good compared to despite the windows. Just added in everything else that was visible in that photo, from the batteries to not the batteries, it is a battery box, airline insulated rail joints, signal power. Here we have the westbound platform stairway. I think that despite all of the innovations, the stairways still have those sort of they need to put catenary shields on them. So in this case, it's just windowless, plasticky corridor. I'm wondering if they'd fixed that by now. Again, let's cut to the Googles. And don't worry about the time. Oh, man, I can make anything go along. Don't worry about the time. We're almost finished for today. Well, finish the photo section. Man, there's just so many things that get demolished in this area. What if I can see it from across the field? Nope, they replaced them with glass, so yay. Good for them. Very nice. I wonder what was there. 2008, still a parking lot. 2011. Oh, wait, no. It's an old skeezy motel that got turned into a field that has not been redeveloped. That's fascinating. Huh. I bet there was some redevelopment effort, or this was a crime, a magnet for crime. Crazy that it's just still completely across from the train station. Fantastic solution for transit-oriented development, and not a peep. Nothing going on here. The sign advertising it even fell off. Real shame. But I'm sure that this whatever this was, the Country Hearth Inn, was probably attracting all sorts of unwanted guests, ladies of the night, etc. Not sure how I would have labeled this. I'm going to go try to remember to look that up in Google, what happened to that. Yep, but that was the when they whatever they had, they put this. It was like a corrugated fiberglass board paneling. Amtrak used this everywhere. You'd see it all over the place. Station, little shelters, those little tiny am shacks. They'd put it on bridges if they needed to cheap out on the catenary shields there. They just put those little fiberglass panels all over the place. Three left. Now here, this turned bag signal is actually one of the new ones for what would then become Conestoga interlocking. And these is one of the ones that are in service today. So that would be track 2, Conestoga 2W. It's also interesting to see when development results in the sort of the shield of underbrush between the tracks and other things getting removed. Usually, you'd think they would try to avoid that to keep, for all the people who complain about the unsightliness or noise of rail transit. You think that they would do a better job maintaining those those literal visual buffers, but no, they don't. At the time, I wouldn't have known what that interlocking was going to be called. So these are unrelated photos. By unrelated, I mean probably when I was going back to Baltimore one of those days. I was going to find out if they're in here. What this was... Oh, man, they're not in here. Great, I got to relabel them. What this was the result of someone getting hit, I think. I don't know why you have randos in T-shirts walking around. But that's what's sort of going on. We got delayed with whatever, and this was the result. If this was today, I would have been a better quality phone photo, but I'm not sure if they're looking for body parts or what. Again, I don't know who this guy was. This guy right there, what's he up to? Everybody else looks to be in uniform, T-shirt dude. I mean, is this his friend? Is he looking for his wallet or something? I don't know what this is. But I don't know the I know when I say I don't know the area, I know that it's on the between Philly and Wilmington, but I don't know exactly where. Sorry, it's sort of hard to... It's a very if you don't know where a thing is, there's no way. I mean, I could try to figure where this is, but just the backlighting is awful. I'd have to go and compare every bridge in South Philly, and for all I know, that bridge wouldn't even be there anymore. Maybe that's the Lamokin Bridge, huh? I wonder. I bet I could find that, but I'm gonna not bore you guys with that. And we are done. Well, done for the first part. I'm gonna check for questions. What the heck's this guy? Oh. What's up? Okay. All right. Let's see if we have any questions. It's important for the label. I hate writing vague descriptions. If I could just give a milepost, that'd be easier. I'll go back and dig in where that is, because that bridge abutment and that old bridge actually looked somewhat interesting. But let's just so I don't know how much this is going to matter. It's already 11 o'clock. Like I said, I had you're not going to be able to even see these on this stream probably. So I have a variety of videos. This one is overlooking the from the Atlantic City line. It's overlooking the old Richmond step up right after they went through and removed all the when Amtrak redid it. A lot of the transformers here weren't necessary, and they just yanked them out. Oops. Don't worry, it's fine. I just forgot to pause it first. This is fill interlocking. This is one I'm surprised I never posted. Reasonably good quality video of fill interlocking south of Philadelphia, where the airport line splits off and all the other SEPTA R2 gets onto the NEC. That one's gonna go up as is. Damn it. Okay. I gotta remember stuff. I also have two. This is inbound to Lancaster. There's a Lancaster station. Amtrak had a big signal rebuild facility where they would go and rebuild relays and keep the old towers and stuff going around. And again, you can see how the middle of the right-of-way is completely devoid of a track. And there's Cork. And then I got in the second video pulling out past this giant mound of rubble, which I assume was a factory like the old Crown Cork and Seal plant that Cork Tower is named after. It could also just be like an aggregate company, but it looks like it's brick.
Factory when I was out here last.
Yeah, that looks like it was brick. here we are at Royalton at Roy Interlocking. There's the old Roy substation. Roy had also been recently re-signaled, or re-signaled in 2005. I was just out there recently for new photos. It's not changed much since then. But the Roy Interlocking hut, the previous one, is still there with relays in it. Yep, that one's just tweaked. That one's another bad one. I'll figure out how to. So here we have then leaving Lancaster past the old New Holland branch. That went from a hand throw switch to power operated, and there's the number 1 crossover right there. That was removed when Cork was closed, but at the time that was keeping the air switches in business. Right there, the number 1 crossover. Here are at Park. This is a really good video of Park, and I did post this one. There's Park Tower. You can see the full 4-track crossover with the pneumatic switches. Unfortunately, the quality on whatever I used to do it on YouTube, its early compression algorithm really killed the video. So I might re-upload it, but we'll see. I could put in a compilation. The next one's Thorn. And then this is a little bit of Paoli.
Flying from Philly to New York for meetings. I could have got.
You can hear my friend Bob there. All right, that's all I got for now. Thank you guys for coming in. I've got a whole variety of other ones to do, especially as the fall comes up and I'll have full 5 or 6 days in a row. I can do longer sets. But I have a whole bunch of 2x sets that I'm going to start next time I'm around. That might be, I'll give you the date that I know that I'll be able to do it. Looking at November 2nd and 3rd. Thursday the 2nd, and then the 3rd, Friday night. And then the other time I'd be looking at to do one was quite possibly the night of the 27th, but that's a TBD. All right? So you guys all have a great day. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. Enjoy your week. Enjoy the weather. Have a wonderful time.